Hey guys, Tina here, the Critical Virgo. So I'm gonna do something a little different today. It's not a review. I just kind of wanted to take a break from that. I did try something out, which I'll talk about tomorrow, and that's Myths Man from Homage. It's very interesting. I'll leave it at that for now. And I was checking out my stats on the computer before I went out for my run, and I saw something that I'm really excited about. I'm gonna put a screenshot to that right now. So we're at 3,900 hours, so we're very, very close. And the date stamp on it shows it's like behind the cutoffs by the 20th, so I might make this. And like I said, I'm gonna keep my word. Once I hit the 4,365, I will draw my 2 winners. And it's actually not a drawing. I will announce the 2 winners because I've been keeping track, and there are 2 very clear winners so far because they're just killing it as far as comments go. And just FYI, you can go far back in videos and make comments. You don't have to do just the ones that I'm posting now. So there is still some hope for you. I wanted to do something a little different today, and I wanted to do a little kind of chit chat, seeing as we're so close to a milestone that they've put in front of me. And there's been a lot of milestones in my YouTube career. I feel like I can say that because I've been here for over a year. We're going on like a year and a half. I started this in August 2016. There have been a lot of things that I've learned along the way. And there's some people out there who are thinking about starting up their own channel, and I don't want them to be discouraged by all the new thresholds that are in place. It's just another obstacle to climb, and there have been many over the time that I've been around. A lot of changes, a lot of new rules that you had to abide by, because it's been quite an interesting atmosphere, to put it nicely. But I just thought I would talk to you guys about some of the things that I've learned while I've been here. So there's a lot of things that I didn't really think through when I started my YouTube channel. I started it when I lived in Ohio because I had a lot of extra time on my hands. I wasn't training for any race, I wasn't very active, and I really wanted to start up a website, and I'll go more into that later. And I thought it would be something really cool to intertwine with my website and have them kind of be like the same, but it didn't really turn out that way. And again, I'll go into that in a little bit. So the first thing, and I wrote down a lot of notes over here. The first thing that I didn't realize was the amount of time I would be investing into my channel, growing it. And I didn't also realize the amount of time it would take to work on a website. So to have things post at the same time on both, it's a lot of work for both, because a website on its own is like a part-time job, and YouTube is kind of like a part-time job. So when you have the 2 of them and a full-time job, it's like working 2 full-time jobs. I can't tell you how many nights I've stayed up until like 2 or 3 in the morning working on something, editing photos, video, typing something up, getting SEO right, doing marketing for it. It's exhausting, and it is definitely something that you really have to enjoy and want to stick around. There have been many times in the beginning when I was very frustrated, and I even considered dropping one of the 2, but I didn't because they actually bring me a lot of joy. The second thing, equipment. So I had a really old laptop that I used to get me through college, and it worked very well for college like 10 years ago. I filmed my first video and I tried to edit it on my computer that was 10 years old because I read somewhere that you can use like Windows Media Player without downloading all the software. It was really clunky, hard, my computer was slow. It was really on its last leg, and it became painfully obvious that I had to make my first investment. I started off using a really old camera. I didn't invest in a camera. I bought a laptop first, which was a good $2,000 for a laptop with enough power and memory to really edit video, render it, upload, all that fun stuff. And it hurt. And that purchase started me on what will be number 3, but we're still on number 2. So another purchase that I made after I bought the laptop was a new camera. A few new cameras. But the first camera that I purchased was a Canon 80D, which is a DSLR camera. And I thought it would be a really good purchase because it had like the viewfinder, the flip out screen, and the video quality was good. I figure I'd rather make a real investment up front and not have to replace it right away. So I like to invest heavy and then just reap the rewards for a long time, as opposed to, you know, being cheap is expensive, that whole route. So I did that investment, and then, but I missed the portability of my old Samsung camera because I was able to put it on my windshield and do car recording, and you really can't do that with a DSLR. It's just too big. It works great for the house, but it's too big. So what did I do? I ended up buying a Canon G7X Mark II. Another really big investment. So here we are, and I did not purchase any lighting at this point yet. I also had to get a tripod and mounts to the car and mounts for the table. It added up really quick. I also had to buy software for my computer to edit. Long story short, we were a few grand in, okay? It hurt. And this brings me to number 3. I set myself up like a business. Not that I ever went into this thinking that this would be my business, but I did want to use it as a business so that I could write off certain things, like all those major investments that I made. Now with the new tax laws, I don't know how that's gonna work, but it worked out for me, and I had a really great accountant. So if you're thinking about starting one, I'd really think about it as a business and start structuring yourself out that way, because you can probably cut down or work around a lot of the costs, the upfront costs. You don't need to go as crazy as I went, okay? And that's something that I learned. If I could do it all over again, there was really no way around getting the computer. I needed a computer, period, exclamation point. I didn't need all the cameras. I could have probably just went with the Canon G7X Mark II. I love it. I use it the most. I think it's great. It's very portable. It takes excellent photos too, by the way. And I could have really just saved myself close to 2 grand, because there was also lenses and other things that go with the DSLR that we won't go into right now. That's a whole other story. As far as equipment goes too, later down the line, a few months ago, I did invest in lighting. And you know, you can have a really great camera, but if you don't have good lighting, then your videos are gonna suck. Now we'll go into number 4. I didn't realize how slow or how hard it would be to grow. Now, it's not the case for everybody. I know like the flaws that come with my channel. Finding your space is probably one of the most difficult things. Just kind of feeling out your audience and what they want to watch. I still don't have a good handle on it, and this is almost 2 years in. I've just kind of come to realize that what makes me happy is having a wide variety of things. I don't want to be so specific. I like reviewing all different kinds of products, and I like doing little vlogs and story time, and that's what keeps me going, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. The downside to that is that my subscriber count is obviously not going to be as high as someone who's very focused. However, I do have fairly good watch time. And the sucky part is that one of the genres that I like to cover the most is my lowest performing area. Like fragrance, I don't have the best watch time on it. I just do it purely for fun at this point. Some of my best performing videos are not fragrance related. They're actually skincare or electronics. So, and I still do them because they get me good views, they get me good watch time, it drives a lot of traffic, and I enjoy it. So that's my whole take on it. Everybody has a different view. I would rather have a lower subscriber count and more views than a high subscriber count with no views. Part of that growth is not just subscribers, it's actually driving that traffic in and marketing. And that's why I also have my website, because it does help me get a lot of stuff out there, because the content that people find off of my website is also linked to my YouTube. So that's the reason why I never stopped doing both. I just am very spread thin. And this brings me to number 5. I kind of bit off a little more than I could chew with having both. If I could do it again, I would really focus on one, build it up, and then launch the other. I feel like having 2 big platforms to really focus on is tough. And it can literally take me like a day to work on one blog post or review and to market it, and then also another day possibly or half a day to work on a video. And to have the 2 to come together, you know, it's a day and a half, sometimes 2 days, and I do work full time. So I'm either forced to stay up really late at night, like 2 a.m., or post one or the other, or just hold off things for a few extra days. So if I could, like I said, do it again, I would really just focus on one. I don't know which one I would focus on first. Honestly, I'd probably do the website first, because it is an excellent source for traffic. Final one, number 6, personal relationships. I never really thought about how my choice to start a YouTube channel would impact my personal relationship. And if you are in a relationship and you have been for a while, I really caution you and would say, think about your partner and how they will feel about having a lot of, you know, extra attention, and how you can either shield them from unwanted attention if it's not their thing, or you can just kind of get their approval on it first. It's not that my guy is not approving of this channel or anything. He knows that there's like nothing crazy going on, but we don't really post anything personal on our Facebook pages or Instagram anymore, because there are a lot of people who have messaged him about things that they see on my channel, and it just makes me very, you know, cautious and conscious of the things that I show, say, and do. Not that I'm up to anything bad, clearly, I mean, but it's a little annoying. It's a little annoying. And I feel bad sometimes because he never asked for the extra attention, and he's constantly defending me. So I probably should have given that a little bit more thought. And it's something that I would recommend others out there do, especially if, you know, you've been in a long-term relationship. It's different if somebody meets you and you already have a channel, then they kind of go in knowing what's going on. And, you know, I'm a really small channel, so I can't imagine what people with larger channels go through. But it's something you should really give a lot of thought to. And before I make this sound really negative, because this is not meant to be a negative video at all, if you're thinking about starting a channel, I would recommend you do it. You know, just make sure you communicate with your partner if you have one. I've made some amazing friendships and connections. If I could do it all over again, I totally would. Maybe in a different order, and I would just be a little smarter about the way I was going into it, but I don't regret any of it at all. If you have any questions, you can either put them down below or you can reach out to me privately. All my contact information is in the down bar below. I've actually had a few people over the course of my time here reach out with just general questions or more specific ones on how to do certain things. I love, you know, mentoring and helping out any way I can. I mean, I'm not huge out here, but still, it's nice to have somebody that's not intimidating to reach out to, and I get that. I actually had a mentor when I first started out, and it was really cool, and you'll never forget your first of anything. The first person you meet in person, the first fan letter you get, samples or, you know, offers to review things, the friends you'll make. You'll never forget any of that, and I would never trade any of it for anything in the world, because it has been just an incredible ride so far, and I look forward to a long future here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Till tomorrow, I have a review for you. I'm gonna do Amouage Myths Man, so stay tuned for that. And hopefully tomorrow morning we're at 4,000. Fingers crossed, or very close to it, because we're coming up close on this deadline. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna put a card to that at the end of this. Drop a line over there and comment everywhere. Bye guys.